Dom Perignon. He is just the man for the job. A Benedictine...
Dom Perignon is supposed to bubble. It just be like that. So, if you know that rapper, let me know.
Give me a little fella. I want to tell you a secret.
Bro, 2 internet historian videos in 2 weeks? Come on, man.
I'm just like you.
Okay.
We're both down here in the dirt. Mine just happens to be imported.
Okay.
You are fighting in traffic.
I heard Italy was known for like cobblestone and stuff.
Am fighting charges of trafficking. We're so similar. You're working a 9-to-5 job, and I am having to look at that. We're both going through it. So don't hate me. I'm not the problem. It's the wine snobs. They're the ones that look down on you. And frankly, I don't blame them. No, he's learning. Listen, let me pull you up by your bootstraps. What if I made you my little Pygmalion?
Pygmalion?
That's a reference that you wouldn't get. You know what? Perhaps I shall make a series of videos that will give you some sort of clue about fancy things. Yes, that's what I'll do. Something to give you just enough information to bluff your way through a fancy dinner.
Did you know that Da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa?
Somebody had to hold open the gates for the barbarians. Why not me? So let's do it. Let's look at...
Somebody had to open the gates for the barbarians. What do you mean by that, huh?
Wine. The Mountain Dew of upper society. With wine, there is only...
Yo, if somebody pulls out a Mountain Dew champagne bottle, I'm grabbing it and going upside their head, because there's no way.
One rule. Kill or be killed.
True. Bro, I went to a winery in Boston, and we pulled out a camera, and I swear a SWAT helicopter pulled up. You know what I'm saying? 75 CIA agents popped out the back. I didn't know what was going on. They was trying to protect some trade secrets in there. I thought I was going to die. But I'm still here. You know what I'm saying?
And if you want to survive the night...
They found out we was just YouTubers, and they were like, oh, yeah, come take a tour. All right, I'm like, all right, put the guns down. Thank you.
Here are 6 things you should know about wine.
All right, let's see.
To you muggles, the words on these bottles must seem like a mystery.
Pie not no ire?
But us landlords, we, the pink
Merlot,
Himalayan
Chardonnay,
Saltazir,
Rosé.
We know what they mean. They are grape names.
Yep.
Look upon this grapevine. It makes grape berries. Now, there are many different species of grape berry. And whatever the berry species is will determine the type of wine. This is Chardonnay, so it will make Chardonnay. Merlot grapes, they make Merlot wine. Grape names are mostly French. Gross. But for example, in English, Pinot Noir means black pine, because it kinda looks like a black pine cone, if you squint. Here's some of the other names. You can pause it. I'm busy. Wine grapes are not like the kind you get at the supermarket. Those are table grapes.
Okay.
You can think of it kind of like the difference between cooking chocolate and regular chocolate. You can eat them, but they're overly sugary and kind of full of seeds and just not as nice to snack on. So the grape type is the main word on the bottle, but sometimes there are other words as well.
Yes, there are.
For example, this Bourgogne. What the hell is a Chablis? It's all regions. Allow me to explain through the medium of song. There's Chianti and Piedmont, and also there's Burgundy. Don't forget Chablis Bordeaux. This one's from Italy, this one's from Italy, this one's from France, this one's from France, this one's from France, this one's from France. They're all from France. We're Italy. Look, the general rule is, if you see a term you don't understand, it's probably just the French or the Italians being all la-dee-da about their particular region. All right, let's move on to price. Come on, I know a place. We're here. I can tell by the name on the sign.
Facts, liquor.
Now, don't embarrass me, I didn't bring my ID. Fiddle-TD, look at all these bottles. So many options. Ooh, a cheeky $200 bottle. And here, oh, a $20 bottle.
Is that Taylor Port? Oh, that's not Taylor Port. Listen, if you out here drinking Taylor Port, I want you to know your end, your demise is well on its way. All right, I must tell you the truth. Put the Taylor Port down. Pick you up some Bel Air or something like that. This is not an endorsement, but Bel Air, you wanna make me like an ambassador or something? Call me.
Now, I bet this $200 bottle tastes way better, right?
No.
Like it's got to be 10 times better than this one. That's just basic math. Go on, though. You choose one. Oh, no. Well, it was supposed to be a trick
Two-handing it like that, that's crazy. The two-handed, boy.
question, but they both taste pretty similar, right? There's not some threshold that you get to where it gets more expensive, and then it tastes better, and then more expensive again, and it tastes even better, until it gets so expensive and so incredible that it's like nothing you've ever had before. Break through the conditioning. This is just old grape juice.
Exactly.
Now, if you're a little bi-curious about a more expensive bottle,
Hey, yo.
sure, why not?
Gold letters grace the label, hand engraved by goldsmiths. Famed wine critics described the taste as mind-boggling.
But realistically, after about $60, the flavor doesn't get much better.
Okay.
In fact, it plateaus out and it can even go down. The best quality to price ratio is all the way over here,
At $20?
much lower, about $20.
Okay, listen. I will never buy a bottle of wine over $20 again. Listen, he should have never told us this. Hey, he opened the gates for the barbarians, all right? And we walking through.
That's how much you should spend on a bottle of wine. Now, some people will say
that I'm putting my heart and soul into this thing. I'm making a form of art. How much is that worth? How much is art worth?
about $20.
$20.
But what about the Vintage?
The vintage.
Whoa, look at this. A couple of cromulent slender necks. And they're the same price as well. But
Different
this one
years,
is from 2019, and this one is from 2022. Well, surely the older one is the better one, right?
No.
No. Many people think that the wine aging goes like this, and the flavor just keeps getting better over time.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna blame black people for this next part because they always say like your age like fine wine. Your age, you know, they always say the older, the older, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Hold on, wrong quote. You know, wrong. Yeah, still aging like fine wine. It might be a little cap to that.
The wine at the store has already been aged at the winery. I don't need to be more aged by sitting on this shelf and just collecting dust, or spending years at the back of your pantry at home. If I'm for sale, I'm ready to be consumed. I'm ready to have your hot lips wrapped around me. In fact, the general rule goes a corked bottle should be drunk within 5 years, and a capped bottle within 1 year.
Okay.
Come, there's more. Let's pretend I am a waiter at a restaurant. You happen to be wearing a shirt, and so I have mistaken you as a paying
Poor
customer.
person.
As a waiter, the first thing I will press you about will be food pairings. White wine with fish? A Merlot with pork? Well, kid, I'm gonna have to pair this truth nugget with something you don't want to hear. The food pairing doesn't really matter. It's all completely subjective.
Yeah, facts.
It's cuisine by...
That's what people need to learn about food anyway. Everything is your opinion, okay? It don't matter what everybody else think goes together. If you like it, put it together. I know people who put freaking ketchup on corn. Would they ever eat at my table? Of course not. All right? But I've also done some crazy things. I've eaten pizza. Chat, listen. I have eaten pizza with... All right, when I'm about to say this, please don't roast. All right? You know the red sweet and sour sauce you get from the Chinese spot with cold day 2 pizza out the refrigerator? Come on, bro. Elite eats. Trying to tell you.
A HollaSquad. It's food astrology. Pay no attention to the sommeliers in the comments section. They are bullshitting to upsell.
Facts.
Get the more expensive one. It goes better with the spaghetti.
Or They are a Pisces, and you shouldn't trust their opinion anyway. Something else to expect at a restaurant? Expect to get ripped off by the markup. Most restaurants add a 250 to 300% markup on their wine. And the cheaper the bottle, the higher the proportional markup tends to be. So a $20 bottle will turn into an $80 bottle, but a $100 bottle may only rise to $150. Most people get the second cheapest bottle on the menu, regardless of the pairing, and that'll do just fine. And that's it. No more tips. Unless you want to leave me one. Huh? Actually, you know what? I got a fucking tip for you, mate. Ad time. I bet you're wondering how I got this cog in my knee. That's because I became the face of
Incog, come on, man. Hey, that joke right itself.
Incogni, the service that helps you be forgotten on the internet. I used to be a humble florist. One day we received a shipment of forget-me-nots. But inexplicably I fell in and ate a bunch of them. I forgot everything that day. My address, my web browsing habits, where I worked, what my child's face looked like. I was supposed to pick him up from daycare, so that was kind of embarrassing. I just picked one of the kids that kind of looks like me.
Oui, monsieur.
Close enough. Crazy. Have you ever signed up for some dodgy website? Have you ever dodged up for a legitimate website and they sell all your details onto a dodgy website? That's where I come in. Incogni man. And a nana boy. There are data miners out there, data collectors, creating big servers all around the world. They take your name, your address, and your IP. And together they make a big profile, and that lives forever. I am here to send them a noise file, and that lives forever.
Mr. Beast, I got some questions, all right? I got some questions.
I'm here to send them annoying legal notices to tell them to fuck off. Take Steve off your database.
Oh,
European law this, American law that. Go to incogni.com/internet store to get 60% off an annual plan. The cog signal. I swoop into the data centers. Legal notice. Tangle up their processes with admin. Who are you? I don't know.
This actually true?
Oh, wait a minute. Inganokni.
That's why y'all gotta pay attention to the links you click in your emails. You know what I'm saying? The websites you visit.
Nam. Go to incogni.com/internet historian.
Even when you're looking for like insurance or like a car or a quote or something, and they be like, yo, put your email in and we'll send you a quote. That's dead. That's dead. Because they gonna take that information and they gonna sell it. They gonna package it up, sell it off.
Incogni man. Remember me? Yes.
Let's join the team.
Who's the kid?
Je suis très affamé, monsieur, s'il vous plaît.
Whoa, that's a good deal. Ad over. Welcome to the Wine Underground.
I need to subscribe.
We
to
have
this.
our meetings
What
set
is the
because
name
it
of
stays
the
at the
video?
very.
This is Too Fancy, Too Furious, but it's internet historian. He got like all of the like DashCon. What other internet historian video have we watched? That boat that was like the Titanic. The guy who got trapped underground.
Very pleasant temperature. You know, us wine masons, we control everything. We are few, but many. That doesn't make sense. Look at the back of this bottle. See the No Fat Chicks logo? Mm-hmm. We put that there. It is the symbol of our organization. We have a dirty finger in every glass of government and corporation stuff. If you cross us, whoops, perhaps you'll have a little accident. Last year, Little Upstart tried to make wine actually taste good. You know, like how grape soda does. Cut him up so good he had to get stitches. We caught one reporter trying to dig around into our operations. We all know how that one ended. With an airstrike. All right, my little... All know how that...
I thought that was the Biltmore house back there. I was about to make a trip. You know what I'm saying?
That one ended. With an airstrike. All right, my little juice box. I'm going to let you in on a secret. Why is champagne called champagne? Well, I'll tell you. It all
Champagne.
began in 1668. In the Abbey of St. Peter in northeast France, there's something spooky going on. It's springtime, and in the cellar where they keep all the wine, bottles would suddenly,
I
unexpectedly,
subscribe. Hey, you gotta subscribe to Internet.
explode.
Dangerous.
Now, this was especially common during morning mass. Ho ho, that's a bad omen. Sometimes the explosions would cause little chain reactions, and bottle after bottle would break down the line, ruining the majority of the crop. The peasants were frightened and also parched.
Sacre Bleu, lay wine. What is happening?
The monks would refer to this as the devil's wine.
Lay wine is cursed.
Le God, he must be angry at us. We need a hero.
In walks Dom Perignon. He is just the man for the job. A Benedictine monk
Dom Perignon is supposed to bubble. It just be like that. So, if you know that rapper, let me know.
at the Abbey. He's got a new role, the cellar master. And it's his mission to find out what the hell is going on here. So Dom starts looking at all the bottles. And what he figures out pretty quickly is that the wine itself is releasing gas. The gas builds up pressure and
Pop.
why that is happening, he doesn't know. But it's his job to stop it. So he gets to work, trying all sorts of things to stop his mortal enemy.
The bubbles.
The bubbles.
The cork.
In the first year, he tried insisting that
To slowly let air. Come on, man.
only the youngest grapes be picked.
Perhaps this will stop your bubbles.
And it didn't. The next year, he changed up how the grapes were pressed.
Push harder, we'll squeeze out the bubbles.
Son of a bitch. He tried picking the grapes very early in the morning and no other time. Nope. And on and on. The bubbles would win the battle every year. For 8 long years, he tried all sorts of different things. And no strategy worked. No, the bubbles. Eventually, he was at the point of almost giving up. Until one day, hey, what if the wine is still fermenting? So he takes a couple of the bottles and he opens them and, it is. We ferment the wine. Once it's done, it goes into the bottle. How does it then start fermenting again? How is that possible? And here the mystery was solved. So it turns out in North France they have very fast changing seasons. And owing to that, the yeast doesn't actually get time to do its job. Instead, it would get cold very quickly in the winter and all the yeast would go dormant. Then the winemakers would go, oh brilliant, fermentation slowed down, it must be done. They would then bottle it and they would store it. But once
That girl
summer came
candy
back
was
around,
good.
the process would spring back to life and carbon dioxide would build up and...
Explode.
Okay, he thinks, I cannot change the climate. Perhaps I shall not win the war against the bubbles. Now, the bubbles are his enemy, and he has another enemy. The English. Therefore, the enemy of his enemy or something. Anyway, he starts talking to the English, and he goes, hey, how do you guys stop your bottles from exploding? And the British go,
You what, mate? Cool. We'll peep at how thin the bloody glass be in it. Thin glass is the problem. Thank you for using this test to speech pre-
How was your Thanksgiving? My Thanksgiving was good. Listen, I learned this Thanksgiving. Potato salad is elite. Greens are elite. Depends on who cook them. You know what I'm saying?
you. For a paid version,
The mac and cheese. Look, I finished the last part of the mac and cheese probably like 2 days ago. Yes, I ate a plate of mac and cheese in December. And guess what? In 2 more weeks, we getting more mac and cheese.
please go to
see, the English have created new coal-fired bottles with
How was y'all's
much thicker
Thanksgiving?
glass. Then they put a cork in the top, and it allows them to make very foamy beer. That's right, he could just use thicker bottles, and he won't have to worry about stopping the bubbles at all. So Dom goes running back to France. He's panting, he's sweating, and there's bits of brie on his shirt. He's going, better bottles, better bottles. Everyone's confused and terrified, but they give it a shot. And
Explodes.
there it was. The people of France loved it.
I love this new style.
Even the French royals were enjoying new wine, TM. He even started adding extra yeast and sugar to really get the bubbles going. And so Dom Perignon had created what we call today champagne.
Champagne.
Now, there's a 19th century marketing campaign that says the moment he uncorked his champagne for the first time, he tried it and said, come quickly, I am tasting the stars. But that's actually a myth. He never really said that.
That's crazy.
There's still a problem. And this one, Dom cannot fix. The pulp. If you bottle wine while it's still fermenting, so that you can keep the bubbles in, you're also trapping in a bunch of dead yeast and debris and gross particles too.
That's nasty.
Also, it's all cloudy. No, we want it clear. We want it crystal looking. How will we ever solve this problem? Dom
Fermented then bottle.
dies. 1805, in walks Madame Cleo. She's just the man for the job.
It's crazy hearing these names that you see on the bottles, like Cleo. Who said Cleo in the song? Wiz Khalifa and Mesmerize. Ashes on the floor. Even smoke. He said it in the song.
I'm also
right?
French. I have come to remove all the little beats. I will clench my teeth together and go pitu back into the bottle.
Now, Madame Cleo was a very shrewd lady.
That sounds
Her
cool.
husband died when she was in her early 20s,
My husband is dead. Lol.
and part of the estate she was bequeathed included a winery. She immediately got to work, making it into a successful business.
I shall invent a process called lay riddling.
Here's what you do, right? You put these bottles on a rack at a 35-degree angle with the top facing down. Every 2 days, she would give the bottle a little shake and slightly increase the angle. After 8 to 10 weeks, all of the sediment would come to rest in the neck of the bottle.
Okay,
Right,
how do
quick
you get it
tangent.
out?
Did you know that when you increase the salt concentration in water, you can drop its temperature down much lower without it freezing? Tangent over. So she takes this sub-zero salt water and dips the neck of the bottle in there, then lets it sit until the neck freezes. Now you have a sort of frozen cork filled with all of the gross pulp, and then you simply pop off the top. And the whole thing goes shooting out as a fun prank for your friends and family.
See, that is a thinker right there, bro. That is a thinker.
Then they add in a little more extra base wine and sugar and leave it to age. And with that, Cleo has just created a clear, sparkling wine. And that is Ridley. And Madame Cleo is...
the Riddler.
So Dom Perignon and Madame Cleo are both credited as the godfather and godmother of champagne. Today, the Dom and Cleo brands are owned by LVMH, the same
Who is
parent
that?
company that owns Louis Vuitton, Tag Heuer, Tiffany & Co., Hennessy. Actually, pretty much every luxury brand. But what?
I did not know that. Hold up.
Heuer, Tiffany & Co., Hennessy. Actually, pretty much every luxury.
All right. Hold up. We're about to do some investigation right here. Where we are looking through Givenchy, Marc Jacobs, Fendi, Dior. I'm looking for no Gucci on here, all right? Because I watched the House of Gucci. That's all. I just had to do my investigation to see if this was the company behind it.
Brand. But why is it called champagne? Well, that's because it comes from the Champagne region, you dummy. And anything else with bubbles is just sparkling wine.
So if it's not from the Champagne region of France, it's not champagne. That's crazy. Look, I'm going into my fine dining establishments down the street, and I'm going to question them on this. And if they get it wrong, I want my order for free. All right? You lied to me.
Oh, it's you. I was just looking out over the sunset. You know how it is. Thinking about stuff that happened in the past. I remember it all too well. It was literally 1984.
It seems like an
I was
important
walking
year.
home with my parents from the opera.
Come on, keep up. We're nearly there.
Hey, let's take a little shortcut, they said.
We can cut through here.
We were walking down a well-lit alleyway. It was nothing but quaint restaurants and
Cleveland?
bistros. Then suddenly, a man holding a bottle of Shiraz came out of nowhere. Just a tipple, he said. I was terrified. I knew nothing about wine. Go on, he said. My hands were shaking, knees weak, arms heavy. Complex aroma, wouldn't you say? Ooh. Very good tannins? Oh, really? Yep. What's a tannin? I don't know. My parents died from embarrassment right
about to
there
become a
on
Batman
the
for real.
spot.
Hey, I knew it was coming. GG's to your moms and dad. Go get Alfred. It's time to build that cave.
Mommy! I'm sorry, Daddy.
Just a tipple. It's too late for me, but I don't want the same thing to happen to you. That's why we have to learn about how to serve wine.
I know you gotta like...
So you've bought a bottle of wine to show your friends and family how successful and sophisticated
Like at an angle?
you are. Did you know that Da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa? So let's go through how to serve the big three. White, red, and champagne. Let's say you've bought champagne. That bottle goes in the fridge. Champagne is served cold always. To open, peel off the foil and do not aim it at your face.
Facts.
Then twist off the metal thing. If you want people to think you're fancy, use the proper word, muselette.
Muselet.
It helps to contain
Jay
pressure.
was good. Good morning.
Again, don't aim this thing at your face. It's really worth repeating. The PSI inside a champagne bottle is 70 to 90.
What is that?
That puts it in the same league as a nail gun. So the cork comes out at about 50 miles an hour. And if you're in a house, you want to hold onto it very firmly with your hand. If you're Bezos, or you just won the Grand Prix, fling it over some ladies. But if you want to be really fancy, you can use a sword. This has been a tradition for a couple hundred years, popularized by Napoleon. After each victory, the army would use their sabers to crack one open for the boys. But the sword's just ceremonial. You can use pretty much any blunt object to knock off the top. A phone, a shoe, this fish head. If it's cold, it shouldn't fizz over too much, but you might want to have someone on the side with a ready glass.
To catch it. Okay.
The glass type should either be a tulip or a flute. Although, if you've seen The Great Gatsby,
You said doing recommendations got a horror kind of vid? Send me that, all right?
you may notice that they use these. Up until the mid-1900s, people used coupes. That's because, back in the day, excessive effervescence wasn't very cool. So these cups helped actually dispel the bubbles faster. In fact, sometimes they'd even use a small whisk or a fork to dissipate all the bubbles. Now, there's actually an old myth that the shape and size of the coupe was molded from one of Marie Antoinette's buboes. But it's probably not true.
That boy's still supping on it, though.
Eventually, bubbles became a fancy feature, so the flute was adopted. They can be made from glass, but preferably they're made.
Okay, so when we went to the winery, they told me the flute is there so the bubbles don't escape and it can keep its potency. They taught me about you stir it around, and I think they're called like strings. I'm just trying to show off my knowledge before internet historian makes us all realize we know nothing. All right.
Made from crystal, so that they shimmer as much as possible. And the best flutes would also feature a small rough spot right there at the center of the glass at the bottom to create a sort of tornado of bubbles. Anyway, as you pour, tilt sideways so it isn't all head, and don't pour more than 2/3 full. Done. White wine. White wine is best served chilled too. 10 to 15 degrees though, not fridge cold. Use a small glass bowl and pour to about half full. And when you drink, do a little sniff test and aerate it a bit. Then hold it down low on the stem so your hands don't heat up the liquid. If it's not to your taste, cut it with 50% Sprite and add a few ice cubes.
Really?
Done. Reds. Red wine is not chilled. It is served at room temperature. When you first open it, you're supposed to let it sit for a while to oxidize. That gives it more flavor. Although if you don't want to wait, you can just pour it into a decanter. That does the same thing. To drink from, we want a big bowl on a stick. so you get a full face of the aromas of the grape blood. When you pour the thing, fill it about 1/3 full.
Just sent it.
That's
Would you send it
pretty
on
much it.
Discord?
However, when it comes to wine snobbery, red wine snobbery is at the top of the Maslow hierarchy.
Crushed white rock. It's like almost like a rock quarry.
Oh my God, shut up. And there's a taste testing thing that people do, and it'll go a bit mental, and it's kind of gross, and it looks dumb. But if you think you're ready for the ultimate test, ready to take the one-chip challenge of enology, then here's how you do it. When the waiter comes over, insist on taking a teensy sample. Inspect for color, clarity, and legs. Legs refers
I said strings. They're called legs. Hey, they look the same.
to how viscous the wine is. Smell it. Smells like a red wine. Swirl it around on the table, making a loud scratching noise so that everyone knows you're a connoisseur.
Swirling the wine glass is almost like turning up the volume on the stereo.
When you taste it, you're supposed to get it over every part of your mouth so that when you brush your teeth later, it's awful. Then take in big sips of air. This is where you comment on the texture and taste. Complex notes! You yell across the room. Now this is the best part. You can just make shit up about vanilla smatterings or citrusy undercurrents. I swear, there's a hint of blueberry. It's one of those things that's kinda true, but subjective enough that no one can really refute you. So make a big show of it.
There is a little bit of an earthiness, almost a graphite.
Bro, that's what people who be describing stuff like this, they be lying, bro. Just tell me, is it good? Is it bad? That's it. People who be like, and then there's a hint of a pinch of a smithereen of a whiff of a. Shut up, all right? Be quiet. Is it good? Is it bad? Did it get you lit? Are you ready to go to Dooneyland? That's all. That's all people really want to know.
Note to this.
It's a little bit meaty. It's a little bit sort of rustic.
There are definitely hints here of Monster Ultra sugar-free. If this is a taste test and you're sampling dozens of wines, you want to spit out the sample into this gross bucket so you don't get too drunk. Do not ask the waiter if you can drink from the bucket. It's the waiter's privilege and he's very protective of it.
Hey,
and
yo.
that is how to
Trying
serve
to give you a whole
wine.
lecture on how the wine is? Exactly.
Okay,
Just
that's a lot of shitting on wine people.
And we shouldn't get
even when people do it with food, we drizzle a light custard of a mango and a skin of a. Shut up. All right. Would you recommend eating it? Yes or no? That's it.
Please.
But let me do a quick 180. Because overall, wine
wine
is
person?
good. And a little wine snobbery can be good also.
I think I'm a champagne
Being
person.
into wine is one of the great dad hobbies. One day you will have a model train set in your basement, complete with a little walking path and the grass just right. The best part about this hobby is building the thing, getting it just perfect, and then making people sit there while you explain the little trains in excruciating detail of how they work.
Got any shot of pain on you, Holla?
The fun of
I do actually. I do.
Warhammer. That's when you save up for the little space marine man, you take him out of the packet, you put on a podcast with some Warhammer in the background,
Of all the Primarchs, Horus is the best kisser.
and you slowly
Redeem
paint
it?
it yourself.
If
And
y'all
then you
want
argue
to-
with your mates.
Hey, we're only doing one shot of pain today. Okay, well, we don't have pain. We do have a shot of pain. We do. But we're going to save those redemptions for the gaming nights, all right?
Later about why the necrophiles are the best
But you can redeem it, though. I got it. I'll go get it.
race. There are people that spend
Oh! They redeemed the shot of pain.
like tens of thousands of dollars on coffee
All right, after this video, we got 2 more minutes. I'll do it.
machines and equipment. And then it takes like an hour to make a coffee, and it's like only 5% better, maybe, than the ones you get at the cafe. Now, I could be Mr. Killjoy and come in and go, what's the point of that? Why not just buy it from the cafe? Why not just get a pre-painted Space Marine? Why not have someone else just install the train set? But then there's no ceremony, there's no fun, there's no hobby.
Exactly.
Wine is very similar. They're getting a little bit too obsessive about the thing and being like,
some lemon zest as well, lemon pith.
Lemon pith with the... Yo, somebody sit across from me and say, the lemon pith. I'm smacking them, bro. I'm smacking them.
Super tangy.
is the purpose of wine. It's the fun of wine, which is why wine is better than just some old grape juice. And you fucking wine loser snobs, you know what? You're all right. And that's about it. There's just one last thing left. The practical. Come on, my little nouveau biche. I booked out a whole restaurant. They serve some of the best blue whale caviar here.
Blue whale caviar?
All right, you did it. You sat through the whole video without crying. I think this calls for a toast. Steady now. Whoop.
GG's to him.
Uh-oh.
GG's to him.
I can't believe you killed again. But it's okay. I feel like we're becoming close friends who can keep secrets and stuff. And because we're such close friends, I'm going to keep teaching you things. That's right. You're going to be just like me.
Yes, sir.
I just cannot.
Hey, man, listen, I learned so much from Internet Historian. I feel like I'm leagues ahead of the world, all right? Just watching one or two vids, you ahead of 90 to 99% of people, somewhere in that range. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad, because I'm never spending. Next time somebody be like, yo, let's get this bottle of wine, I'm going to be like, no. If somebody puts their name on a bottle of wine, that's because that's what they do. They be like, yo, this is my wine. Go get that. They put their name on top of the $20 thing, and they taking that. You go spend a $43 bottle of wine, you really spend $23 for nothing. That's what I heard. All right. Hey, so that's how we living, man. That's how we living.
So when the metal hit his mug, he just sunk in place. 100K Holla, chillin' Bahamas. Come home to your crib and throw in your mama.